moderator Omotosho Oluwadamilola. Damilola, are you also on the call?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you very much. So we're actually delighted to have professionals from different HR and talent acquisition backgrounds join us for today's section to share their practical insights that will help job seekers better understand recruitment processes and also improve their chances of securing opportunities. So we thank you all for joining the call today. So before we proceed further, we'll begin with a brief opening prayer, which will be the recitation of the third stanza of the Nigerian national anthem. So please let us hold on a little while Ma'am FG actually projects our screen.
Okay. Aisha, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So the opening prayer will actually be the third stanza of the Nigerian national anthem, like I mentioned earlier. So, O God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Thank you very much. Please to the next slide, ma'am. So here at Lecture Hub, we always like to remind ourselves that safety is everyone's responsibility. So on this note, we'll be taking the safety moment, which is ensure to mute your mic when you're not speaking. And whenever you have a question, always raise up your hand and use the chat button. Also, whether you are using an headset, ensure it is not loud enough and make sure you can still hear the fire alarm with it. Also, be alert and aware of your environment. Maintain a good sitting posture. And lastly, always stay safe. Thank you very much. And what is the what is our okay now? I'll be introducing no to the left side. That's Dr. Rema. Thank you very much, Ma. So I'll be calling on our founder. So I'll be calling on our founder, Ma'am Fejiro. She's actually the founder of Lecture Hub here. She has been an excellent person, a very resilient human. So I'll be calling on her to actually take us through the welcome address and the opening remark. Are you on the call, Ma? The floor is just now, Ma.
Okay. Good evening. Please confirm you can hear me.
We can hear you, Ma.
Okay. Thank you very much. And good
Yes,
evening
we
to
can.
everyone. Good evening to those joining us outside Nigeria this evening for us. So thank you very much for joining this session. It's going to be a very interactive session because it's about HRO. It's about HRO, about how to land the role, how to get opportunities, how to position yourself, like what to do right or what you have not been doing before that you can merge or correct. So that is why this session is very important for us to pay attention, not only to pay attention, but to also jot down things, put down our questions, ask questions, because this is a panel discussion and we have most of our questions set up. For those that fill the form, we have been able to streamline the questions based on maybe pressing demands, pressing needs from the audience. So welcome to our very first webinar for the year, and also the first activity for Lecture Hub for the year, and also our first engagement for the year. So this marks the opening of the new year for us, and I hope we really pay attention. We contribute to Lecture Hub, follow us on our social media handles. And I just want to recognize the presence of all our panelists. We have our keynote speaker joining from England. We have all our panelists joining from different locations in the world. Thank you very much, and wishing everyone a very engaging session. Over to you, Aishat.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much for those inspiring remarks. So, just like Cheryl said, and before we move on, I would love to give a quick introduction of Lecture Hub, the platform that brings everybody together today. So, over the time, Lecture Hub has been an e-learning platform, but now a registered CAC company in Nigeria. It is a hybrid educational platform for any sector that actually supports both graduates, young professionals, and even professionals learning journey and also enhancing their careers. So Lecture Hub actually aims to revolutionize the way knowledge is shared in the oil and gas industry and also allied industries. And in Lecture Hub, we are committed to providing the most up-to-date content and relevant content to our users. So in Lecture Hub, we've actually conducted various activities and programs over the years, including our annual energy mentoring section, which the third edition is coming up. We'll be beginning properly next month. The our application is currently ongoing, and lecture. We also have our webinars. We have our webinars and all the activities we actually do. Then Lecture Hub is also available online. You can easily find us on social media like LinkedIn. We are available on LinkedIn, just like you can see on the slide. We are also on YouTube. You can as well subscribe to our YouTube channel to follow up with any of our activities, even some activities you missed, most especially the energy mentoring section. You can easily catch up with us on that. Thank you very much. So moving forward, now we'll move to the keynote segment of today's webinar, which will be the introduction of our guest speaker for today, Madam Oladisi Yusuf. She's an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development and also a professional in human resource management in Human Resource International. She is a workforce analyst within the NHS, where she leverages data-driven insights to strengthen workforce planning and organizational performance. Madam Olabisi is passionate about career empowerment. She inspires students and professionals to recognize their potential, build their relevant skills, and also maximize opportunities in today's competitive job market. Madam Olabisi Yusuf actually has a message which emphasizes on resiliency, strategic positioning, and purposeful growth. So, everyone, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker for today, Madam Olabisi. The floor is now yours, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am. You're welcome to today's lecture, ma'am.
Can you please let me know if you can hear and see me?
Yeah, we can, ma'am.
Yes,
We can hear you.
we
very
can
well.
hear
Okay.
you, ma. We can hear you, ma.
It's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you so much for the introduction. I've got a few slides to share with us, so I would like to put up my slide. So, let me see. I need to quickly share. So I'm sharing my screen now. Please let me know if you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Can you just put
Uh,
mode,
Yes,
ma'am?
so yes, I'll put it on screen mode now. Can you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today I'm here to speak to us about demystifying job application processes. So that's talking about ATS, which is like the latest buzzword that we hear in recruitment, and how to support ourselves in landing the role. I won't say just the role, but the desired role. Please let me know if you can hear me. If at any point you're unable to hear me, please let me know. Okay, so I'll go to the next one to show what our agenda is for today. So I have the quick facts session, I have the introduction, what an applicant tracking system is, the ATS, understanding how applicant tracking system work, examples of some knockout questions to be aware of, and how hiring managers or recruiters use the ATS to find candidates, how to structure your CV for applicant tracking system, actually getting past the applicant tracking system, what we should avoid, conclusion, and I'll share a little bit of my own experience setting up applicant tracking system along the way. So here is a quick fact I have. So I just look up some statistics about Nigerian situation, and here we have that there are currently 174 universities and 134 polytechnics in Nigeria, including both federal, state, and private. And then so overall in total, we have about 2 million people that are admitted yearly and 600,000 graduates. So my statistics shows that we have 200,000 graduate jobs as a date, but we all know that that's not up to when we are looking at the very good jobs that we all look forward to as graduates, the number is now up to that. So if you look at it, it means like we have an average of 3 people chasing one role at the best. Currently, we have the youth unemployment rate at 40% and graduate underemployment at 20%. I'll come back to my statistics. So here I have my introduction. Over the world, everywhere globally, we have a job market where talent is abundant. When I say talent is abundant, I mean myself and you inclusive, we're all great talents. You know, we are everywhere, but the opportunities feel really scarce. You know, when you look at the jobs that you can apply to, how many do we really have around us? Even when we have 200 or 1,000 job vacancies around us, there are always more talent than the job available. So it means that the opportunities are really scarce. So my focus today will be on Nigeria. So now that we both agree that the opportunities are really scarce, then another concern that we now have is that many of our brilliant professionals, when I talk brilliant professionals, I'm referring to everybody on this call. We are all brilliant professionals in our different endeavors. So when we are looking at it, we're not increasingly getting filtered out. So it means that we have brilliant people that are getting filtered out. So when they apply, they don't even get past the phase. Not because they lack the skill, but because their CV never gets the chance to even get to human height. So when you apply, let's say you apply on any of the HR system, Bamboo HR, Zoe Recruit, Workday, SAP, Oracle, you apply for jobs, your CV do not even get to the recruiter or the hiring manager. So that's a concern, whereas you are a very brilliant person. So that's where we are trying to look at what the gap is and how to bridge that. So today, my goal is to simplify the process, help us understand what an applicant tracking system is, and show us how to position ourselves to land the role you deserve. So, an applicant tracking system is simply a software that employers use to process job applications. Nowadays, in HR, in accounting, in geology, in petroleum engineering, there are tons of software out there. In HR, so HR is not left behind. In HR, we have the payroll software, we have the recruitment software, we have, onboarding software, we have different software, survey software. So applicant tracking system is one of these. Applicant tracking system is a recruitment software that HR use, to process job application. This software stores CVs, stores cover letters, and contact details of candidates. So it keeps track of the phase each candidate is in the hiring process from the point you start your application. Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes,
can
ma'am,
you
you can
please?
go ahead.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
Mike. Right.
Okay, thank you. So it means that from the point you start the application, once you see the vacancy and you click on it, it collects your information. So once you put your email, it asks you to create your account. Once you create your account, it collects your information from that point. So that's what an applicant tracking system is. So the goal of an applicant tracking system really is to automate the recruitment process. Remember when I talk about the number of vacancies that we have, the number of people applying for those vacancies. So the market, the candidate pool is very large. So recruiter, HR, we need like a system to help us manage the volume of applications that come in. So that's where the applicant tracking system comes in. So help us automate, CV scanning, interview scheduling, sending update emails, inviting people for interviews, inviting them for tests, giving feedback and all those things. So applicant tracking system does this. It automates the process. We are in the technological advanced world now, so HR is also following suit. So overall, it helps recruiters to save time, it helps us stay organized, and it helps us quickly identify the most qualified candidates without having to go through every CV. So here, I'm just going to give a quick example. Let's say, for instance, a recruiter is hiring for, let's say, a production engineer, or let's say a petroleum engineer, graduate job, 0 to 2 years experience. If I throw out my application today in Lagos and I give it 1 week, I can bet it that I won't have anything less than 2,000 applicants. So if you look at it, for a recruiter, maybe one person or two, it's not really easy and feasible to sit down with 2,000 CV and start running through them one after the other. So that's where this applicant tracking system comes in. Once you fill your form, you upload your CV, it creates a database. So I'll go on to the next phase. So how the system really works. Before your CV makes it into the ATS, you might have to answer some questions. So that's when I was talking about that once you create your account, you put in your details, you start filling some questions about your class of grade, your degree, what you studied, the university, things like that. So some of these things the questions that you complete, that's the starting point of whether you make pass it or not. So in between these questions, we have something we call knockout questions. That's why I've put in parentheses here. We have knockout questions. So while ATS, that's the applicant tracking system, while it handles these questions automatically, they are actually set up by recruiters. So I'm going to give myself an example. I'm going to use myself as an example, pardon me. So I've been in a situation where I've had to set up applicant tracking system with the IT professionals before. So I can tell you for free that these things are not like an automated system that is out of the blues. Someone sits there and say, this is our criteria, this is what we need, and then they set it in the system. So the system only understands the language that has been communicated to it by the HR, by the IT that have set up the system. So now the third one here is, so it means that it is human, not machine, that set up this, that decide whether you get through the shortlisting phase or you get pulled out of the race. So now we all know what computer is. Computer is a garbage in, garbage out. So if I, as the HR person, says that the person I want for this role should be first class petroleum engineering. So if I throw out the application today, even if I put it on my job advert, on the vacancy notes, if I put it on the job description that I want first class petroleum engineering, believe me, by the time I get my applications, I will see different courses. Not to say that these courses are not relevant, but because maybe for me as HR person, I'm looking to take this person to upstream and this is just what I need for this particular role. So now the applicant tracking system is what we now, people, it will just filter out the candidates because I've already told the applicant tracking system I want first class Bachelor of Engineering, Petroleum Engineering. So it will just look out for only that. So the system is as good as the people that have set it up. So then let's move to the next slide. Okay, so the other time I mentioned, I spoke about knockout questions. So when we are completing the forms, there are things that we call knockout questions. And what this means is that as you are clicking them, they are determining whether you will move to the next stage or your application will be thrown in the other side of things, which is like, let's say, not shortlisted category. So number one, let's say, are you willing to relocate? I've just given this as examples. Let's say the role is advertised in Warri by, let's say, a downstream company advertised the role in Warri for HSC officer. Advert will go all out all these job boards will take the adverts, you'll find it on LinkedIn, people will share it on Twitter and all those things. So it means that the advert goes far and wide. So you have different people applying. On it, I'll put, are you willing to relocate? Some people would click yes, they are. Some people will click no. So if the role is based in Warri and there's no opportunity for me to have the role based somewhere else, I can't afford for the role to be based in Port Harcourt. I can't afford for it to be based in Lagos. So it means that if you click no, you're already on the first categories of candidates to be filtered out, because it means that you don't fit into my category at that moment in time. So let's say, what's your class of grade? I can tell the applicant tracking system that, can you put people into categories by their class of grade? So then you have different classes of grade, you separate people into different classes, and then from there I'll be able to make my decision based on the number of applications I receive per class. So now the risk here is, let's assume that someone forgets to complete their class of grade and the question was not made mandatory. That's a huge risk. The applicant tracking system does not know where to put it. Most likely it's just put you in the filtered out category. This is one of the reasons why it's very essential that we put all attention when we are making application. You don't want to miss important information that could end up knocking you out of the application process. So some will ask for age. I've put this there because we are focusing on Nigeria context. If we're to be outside of Nigeria, like in the Western country, age is never going to be a requirement for an application. Nobody's going to ever ask for your age at all. If they ask for your age, they are just taking it as diversity information to know the ages of people in their workforce. But here in Nigeria, decisions are still made based on age. You see, like some banks recruitment process, they say that you should be less than 26 as a date of application, things like that. So when you see things like that, age becomes a knockout question for you. Can you still hear me, please?
Yes, we can, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And then the next one is we have years of experience, we have course of study. Like I mentioned the other time, they might need accounting. Let's say company has 20 roles, 20 graduate training roles. They have need for accountant, they have need for engineers, they have need for geologists, for safety personnel. So, all these courses, by the time you get application, you get it from tons and tons of different courses of study. So it now becomes the applicant tracking system will categorize it. By the time you have your database, you have the engineers, you can sort and filter by course of study. So this will also end up being a knockout question, because if the courses is not in line with what they need at that point in time, then the CV might end up getting filtered out. So after all these knockout questions, the ATS, that's the applicant tracking systems, scans your CV. It looks at the key details, your work experience, your education skills. Then everything gets organized into a database. So let's look at it as many people, thousands of people complete a form. They complete it, they put their details. By the time you get the form back, it comes like an Excel database. It could be Excel or it could be CSV file, but it comes as a database. So you have it in tabular form, rows and columns. You can, against each candidate's name, you have long list of their credentials, you have their profiles, you have their, their age, everything, their location is there. So it pulls out all these details. So, and that's where the recruiter's work now starts. They look at when they want to review what candidate to invite, then they look through the database. So it's only on rare occasion that they go to the initial applicant tracking system to now go and look at maybe some missing information. Maybe they feel something is off, then they go and look at the setup again and see, oh, could there be any reason why this thing is happening this way? But most times people now work with the database that has been generated. So here now we have, how do hiring managers use applicant tracking system? So this is where it gets more interesting for us, and helps us determine what to do. So hiring managers or recruiters, based on a survey that was conducted by JobScan UK, they said that over 99% of hiring managers or recruiters, they use keywords. You know, I mentioned the other time that it comes out as a database. So let's say 76.4% says that they filter by skills. So let's say, for instance, HSC officer, then you look at something like safety toolbox or sorry, toolbox meeting. So you'll be able, they can just search for a toolbox meeting and it pop up in the experience section. So for people that have done toolbox meeting or that they're able to conduct it, people that can conduct safety briefings, it pop-ups and they're able to copy those categories, take them to another sheet, then look at those people in details. So you can also do like a multi-search. If you look at safety briefings, people that can toolbox, then you can look at another category in terms of their course of study. So you can do like a multi-filter search to bring out the people that you need. So another 59.7% of recruiters say that they use education. For instance, so they look at the course of study, how relevant that is to what they are looking for. 55.3% says that they look at the job title. Let's say your previous job, you're applying for a production engineer, they look at your previous job title. Let's say your previous job title is not even related. That could be a disadvantage in getting you shortlisted because you know they don't know you. All they know about you is the information in the database, and that's what they make decision upon. Then the next 50.6% says they use certification. So for instance, now HSC, you can look at something like Nebosh. So they look at this, just search people that have this certificate and this certification, and they just filter them out. Have put HSC level 1 to 3 years and as another example. Then 44.3% says they use years of experience. So I'm very aware of this. 0.2 years, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years of experience, different categories. So if I've got hands up. Ayuba, I can see that you have your hands up. Have you got any question?
Sorry, ma'am. A question will be taken at the end of your session, so
Yeah.
without any form of interruption.
Okay, thank you. So then the last one we have here is 43.4% says they use location, just like I mentioned earlier. So if I'm looking for a job in Lagos and I'm based in Abuja, trust me, I'll put Lagos. I will look for a relative address and put Lagos. And the reason is because when they are searching for people that are based in Lagos, I will not want to be in a situation where my names do not come up. So if you're looking for a job, it's always a good advice that you use the address, the location of that job. Do you understand? You can put it there. Just let Lagos show. Or you can put something like currently based in Abuja, but open to moving to Lagos, so that when they search for Lagos, your name will come out on the shortlist candidates. So if I move on to the next slide. So here now, I have how to structure the CV for applicant tracking system. So as a candidate, our CV is like is what sells us to recruiters because they don't know us. So the first thing where we look at is our CV. How do we ensure that our CV actually gets through the applicant tracking system? Number one, let's look at use section headers. So you have your professional summary, you have your, you put everything into headers, education, experience, put professional summary, skills and abilities, certification. Let everything be in a proper logical structure. Use the headers so that when they eventually, if they set up the applicant tracking system to pass your information in that way, it will be able to tag the education setup or education section rather, put it under education for you. If you put it if you use section headers. Then the next one is professional summary. Have a professional summary that aligns to your word. Please, let's avoid buzzwords like big words. Just align the professional summary to what you do. It should be as personal to you as much as possible. For instance, now, if I'm going to give a professional summary of myself, I'll just put like, HR professionals with over 9 years of experience. My exposure has been in areas of HR generalist, and then the last 5 years of it has been focused on HR systems, configuration of HR processes, and all those things. Those are what I'll put. I won't put big grammars. I want my professional summary to be good enough for recruiters to want to see me. Then another one is skills. So for instance, now, if I'm going to use an example of, let's say, production engineer, I don't know, I'm not quite familiar, I'm not an engineer, I'm just going to give an example. So, something like you want to put maybe well intervention, or you want to put geospatial analysis, you just want to put the skills you have. For safety officer, you want to put toolbox meeting, safety briefings. You want those skills to show so that when they are filtering by skills that you have, your name should be on it. Work experience, you put your work experience with your matrix, then certification I mentioned the other time. Education as well, please put your education. Avoid typo errors when you are typing. Then the next one we have is tools and systems, the system you can use. If there are like relevant systems to the job you're applying for, please always list those systems that you can use. So for instance, now we are talking about applicant tracking system. If I want to apply for a job and I've used few applicant tracking system, I will be able to put something like I can use Zoho Recruit. That's an applicant tracking system. I'll put that I can use Oracle, Oracle recruitment, I can use SAP, I can use Workday Recruit. You have to put it there so that they know what you can use. If they filter by any of these things, so that my name will pop up. Next slide. So here now I have, once my CV is in good format, then how can I get past applicant tracking system? I don't want the system to send me away. How can I go past the applicant tracking system? Number one, yes, use clean formatting. Like I said, follow a logical structure. Put your professional summary, put everything in structured format, your CV, education, list your education, under certification, list your certifications, under your skills, put your skills that you have, under the systems you can use, tools and system, please put the system. Let's say for instance now, you are someone that work on, you maybe all these, you work on all this engineering equipment and you can conduct some repairs, some maintenance. Please put them in the name they are actually called, put them there. And then the next thing is check your spellings, please. When you are putting your CV, you are writing your CV or you are completing your application. Let's say, for instance, that they are searching for my name now, Olabisi, and maybe while I'm rushing, I've put something else. If they search for Olabisi, it won't come up. System does not have this understanding that, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. So they are looking for health and safety officer, and I've put maybe like I didn't put safety, or maybe I just put, there's error there. The system, it won't filter out, and that's a disadvantage. It means that I am good, I should be able to get this job, but because I was rushing, I have already spelled my name, spelled some things incorrectly, and that has gotten me filtered out. No, we don't want to make those mistakes in 2026. Then we have measurable achievements, always use metrics, conducted, in my previous role, I supported, let's say, 250 managers in their safety operation. I was able to achieve, zero, what's it called? Downtime due to accident, zero. I don't know, I'm just giving all these examples. Let's use matrix that states the number. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I achieve 100%. It could be like, I achieve 100%. There was no downtime. So if I'm going to give an example for myself now, I can say something like 100% audit cycle. I achieved my audit cycle 100% in the last. I was able to, in the last quarter, I was able to, complete all my audit cycle. There was no failure in terms of legal compliance due to my inability to complete my audit cycle, things like that, or my proactive. You have to put all these things in metrics. Then another one is to tailor your CV to the job description. This is the most important. We have to look at the job description, read it twice. Some people say read it twice. I can say read it thrice. Read your job description very well. Look at your CV. What is the word they have put there? What is your own word? In Nigeria, there is something that is very common. Very common. Companies come up with names for job. Sometimes those names are not the popular names for these roles. They just use their own name. For instance, now they can use something like HRBP. For HR, that is probably not doing anything strategic. Do you get it? And then you're applying for, let's say, HR coordinator role. You're already putting HRBP. They will not even, it doesn't match. Whereas if you look at the job that you have applied to and look at what you are currently doing, you just see that this job that I'm applying to is the same as what I'm doing. Like, you use the right word, use the right title, I'm very aware of this very common thing in Nigeria because of title buzzwords and everything. Trying to avoid this is very important, especially if you're applying to international roles. You have to look at the common titles, the common words, tailor your CV to use the right words that match the job description. And then here I put semantics relevance. So I'm going to give an example now. We all know that Tableau and Power BI, they are both business intelligence. They are used for, analytics and business intelligence system. But if you look at it, if a job advert says that you need to have an experience with Power BI, but you've never used Power BI before, you've only used Tableau. If you have used Tableau very well, you'll be able to transfer your knowledge to Power BI easily. But you've not used Power BI, you can't claim you've used it. But if you put Tableau, they might not shortlist you, might get you filtered out. So how can I manage this? What I can do is I'll put that confident expert level Tableau. I'm able to use Tableau to deliver insightful intelligence and business reporting. I'm aware that Tableau is quite different it's a different system to Power BI, but I'm confident that my expert level knowledge in Tableau makes it easy for me to transfer these skills, this knowledge and ability into delivering excellent and insightful reporting on Power BI as well. Do you get it? You can even put like Tableau is on another system, is just hosted by a different system, while Power BI is hosted by Microsoft. So these are two similar systems that, just make sure that you put Power BI on your own CV as well. So if they search for Power BI, your CV will definitely come up on it. And by the time your CV eventually gets to the hand of the recruiter, they'll be able to see that, oh, this person has not used Power BI, but they've used Tableau, and with their own knowledge as well, they'll be able to tell that yes, if they've used Tableau very well, they'll be able to transfer these skills to Power BI as well. So on to the last slide. So now I've come up with this little example of what should we avoid going forward. So after understanding the good things to do, then what are the things that we should avoid? Number one here is missing keywords. So the job description says that hazard identification, your CV says checked the site for issues. Those things are, they are trying to communicate the same thing, but they are different. You can use exact terms like conducted hazard identification and reported unsafe conditions. That is smarter, and that ties in what the job description says. So the job description says hazard identification, but you've done it before. Instead of using just layman word, just you can tie it in. I'm not saying you should copy everything on the job description and put in your CV, but now here, if they say they're looking for hazard identification, your name will definitely come up on it. Avoid spelling errors, just like I said the other time. Grog job titles, for example, site safety champion. Use industry titles, HSC officer, HSC assistant, safety officer, Anybody that sees your role, they see health and safety officer, they know what you are doing already. Site safety champion does not necessarily mean a professional in HR, health and safety. Do you get it? For instance, in Western countries, companies used to have safety champions, just like they have freedom to speak of champion, they have health and safety champion, fire champion. So you could be like me now. If I'm interested, I can say I want to be like safety champion on my floor. So it means that I'm the one that look at if there's anything that people are doing that I think that is wrong, I'll be the one to flag it to the HSC team. Imagine now when they see they just think that, oh, site and safety champion, how is it related? Whereas you are a full-fledged health and safety officer. So use industry titles for yourself when you're applying to role, especially if you're applying to foreign roles. No metrics. Like I mentioned the other time, let's ensure that we use metrics going forward. See an example here. Ensured compliance with safety rules. Oh, how have you ensured? But yes, see, ensured 98% PPE compliance across 3 operational sites. You see now. Then over design CVs with icons, tables, colors, graphics. Sometimes it confuses the applicant tracking system and you just pull it to one side. We don't want that. What you need is simple text, no graphics. Your name on top. In Nigeria, I will not advise anybody to put their home address because of safety issue, but you should put your location. For instance, if I'm in Lagos now and I'm living in Surulere, I will put Surulere, Lagos State. Do you understand me? I won't put my address, number 10 Thomas Street. I won't put it there. Do you get it? Because of safety concern in Nigeria. So you should put things like that on your CV. You should have to be very careful. Put simple there, then you go to professional summary. There's no need for big jargons or buzzwords that makes you sound like AI has written everything for you. So just put it there, and then the next one is my education. Just put my school, in chronological order, the most recent one to the least recent one. Do you understand? Then the next one is my certification. Then I put my work experience, all those things in just a structured order. And then the last one is vague descriptions. Let's avoid vague descriptions. Handled safety activities. Let's be specific. You can say something like conducted toolbox talks, site inspections, and incident reporting. So these are some of the things I've come up with in my speech today. I know I've run far beyond my time, and I've got a personal example I would like to share, but I need to check with the moderators if I can do. Apologies, I've run so far beyond my time. So sorry.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that insightful presentation, ma'am.
Thank you
Really
too.
appreciate that. So during your course of presentation, you actually took us through what the ATS is, how it works, the examples of network, the knockout questions we could actually encounter in the ATS. You also mentioned how hiring managers also use ATS to find candidates that are relevant to their role, and how to structure our CV for the ATS by using section headers, our professional summary, education, and all that. And likewise, getting past the ATS by tailoring our CVs, and also the mistakes we can avoid by our spelling errors, job titles, and over designed CVs. So that was an insightful presentation, and I am sure our
Thank you.
audience too has gained valuable perspectives from those remarks. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
welcome, ma'am.
know that I've run far beyond my time, but I would just like to share a quick personal example experience for just 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was even planning on calling you to do that. I want to hear that particular story.
Okay, so I had in 2020, that was the last time I had the graduate recruitment done in Nigeria. It was the application was open for like 2 weeks, and believe you me, we had 14,000 candidates, more than 14,000, but less than 15,000. We're only looking for 25 graduates at that point. Imagine the number. What are the odds? Do you get? So imagine if there's someone somewhere that is very intelligent, very interested in the role, very deserving of the role, but they've made some mistakes. How can we get past them when we already have 14,000? How feasible is it for us as recruiters to be looking through CVs of 14,000 candidates? It's just not feasible. But what made people, what gave people chance then? These are, perfectly designed CV, structured CV, avoiding buzzwords, putting your qualification, your class of grades. Those are things that helped people at that point. I'm sure that there would have been some candidates that were equally as good, but maybe due to some errors completing their information, there were mistakes there and they couldn't even get past the applicant tracking system. And if you look at the number that I had that time, it was just not feasible for us to be going through CVs of 14,000 people. It's the same thing now. It still happens. You see, when people apply for banks, graduate training, when you apply to all these downstream or upstream multinational companies, you are fighting against a large number of people. So the best we can do for ourselves is to make sure that we tailor our CV, look at the words they've used on the job description, ensure that it shows on your own as well. If they ask you, do you have 5 credits in your SSCE? Yes, you have it. Please write it there. SSCE results, 5 credits or 5 distinctions. Please write it there. All these things do not take us time. It just gives us chance so that we get seen by people. Once you get seen by people, then they'll be able to make human decision to say, this person is good. I think we would like to invite this person. But system does not have that thinking, does not have that head to determine. Once you don't fit the criteria, you don't fit the criteria. That's all I have to share. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you so very, very much. Please, let's put our hands together for I want to see the reactions, the emojis. Please, let's comment on the chat box. I want to see that we really went through this keynote session. You can see it's a very robust, like how you apply and how you learn the role. Just very direct within few minutes. So please, let's put our hands together for thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And thank you so much. I just want to say thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
So we'll not be taking questions for you, but we'll kindly request if you can share your slides with us.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
I wish you the lovely rest of the day.
More emoji. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So we'll move to the next slide.
Sorry, Aisha. Please, before you go, can we take a photo? Please, let's turn on our camera and take a quick screenshot before we move forward. Please, 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 please. So it just 1 second. So I will count on every word just to 1 second to share the screen. Sorry, to put our faces out so I can take a screenshot, please. Aisha, I don't know who is sharing the screen. Please, can you stop sharing so I take the screenshot first? Then we'll give the recognition to Madam Olaibisi. Okay, so please let's smile. Sorry, I'm at work. Okay, so I'll take the first one. Okay, so I'll move over to the next page. Some people are not smiling in the next page. I will just take the photo like that. Then to the third page. Sorry for taking your time. We are going directly to the panelists. Yeah, so we can make use of the remaining minutes we have. This won't be long. And just to acknowledge us, one of our panelists will also join us while the session is ongoing due to work schedule. So thank you very much. You can, at this point, turn off your camera while I share my screen. So, Madam Olaibisi, I'm sure you're still here. We would love to recognize you. Madam Olaibisi, can you hear me? Is she still on the call?
She has left the call.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I will just, Aisha, you can share the screen so we can recognize that. Then I will reach out to her via other means of communication.
Alright.
Aishat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What is it, ma'am?
I said you can share the screen. I think that someone was already sharing before.
You are sharing from your end.
Okay, just give me a minute. You can go ahead. Why give me a minute?
Okay, all right, ma'am. So we just finished with our keynote address. So we're moving to our panel section, which is a roundtable discussion. So our panel section, we actually further unpack the realities of job applications, the ATS systems and strategies for successful landing the roles. Our panelists are currently available. They're on the call, and we are going to actually go to their bio. So I will call on my co-moderator Monica to actually take us through the panelist introduction. Monica, you're on the call. Okay, it seems Monica is not on the call. She's having issue with her network. So I'll be calling on Damilola Omotosho to take us through the panelist bio. Damilola, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Confirm you can hear me, please.
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, Aishat. All right, so we'll be moving on to our panelist discussion, and I'll be reading the panelist bio. So our first panelist for today is Mr. Tosin Onsu. Tosin is a recruitment consultant and talent acquisition specialist with over 5 years of experience spanning sourcing, screening, and engaging candidates across diverse industries. He currently serves as a recruitment specialist with Arion Energy, where he partners with businesses and professionals to deliver seamless and positive hiring experiences. He designs and implements strategic talent acquisition workflows. He designs and implements strategic talent acquisition workflows, leveraging advanced sourcing tools to identify and engage high-quality candidates, while championing inclusive and equitable hiring practices that enhance workforce diversity. With strong expertise in CV, screening, and interviewing, Tosin strategically addresses complex recruitment challenges. He has a proven track record of reducing time to hire and improving quality of hire, enabling organizations to grow with the right talent and helping candidates secure roles where they can thrive. His commitment to continuous learning and professional growth has earned him certifications in talent acquisition, HRCI, Human Resource Associate Specialization, and Compliance and risk management, among others. Please, can we give a virtual applause for our first panelist for today? I can't see our reactions. Can we give a virtual applause? Thank you very much, Mr. Tosin, also for joining us today. Please, are you on the call? Can you just give us?
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. So I'm moving on to reading the panelists of the second, reading the bio of the second panelist for today. That's Madam Victoria Ehai. Please, sorry if I didn't pronounce the name very well. Victoria is a strategic
Can anyone
HR.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think my network locked me out. So let me see if I can share the screen again.
All right. All right, thank you very much. I'll still move on. Should I wait or I should move on?
Wait, so you reintroduce Mr. Tosin?
I should reintroduce him, right?
Yes, please.
I've introduced. All right, okay. I'll do that. So that we can all see.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes,
Okay.
clearly.
You can go ahead.
Okay. To his slide, please. To Mr. Tosin's
It's
introduction.
on already. It's up already. Oh, it's not yet up.
Okay. My network is a bit slow. It's not yet up. Is it my network? I can't see your screen.
Can you see it now?
It's coming up. So sorry for the delay. It's not yet up.
Should be up. Can anybody hear me?
Can any other person see the screen? Or is it just me? All right.
It's currently
Okay,
up.
I can see it now. It's up now. All right, so I'll move on. I will reintroduce Mr. Tosin again. So Tosin is a recruitment consultant and talent acquisition specialist with over 5 years of experience spanning sourcing, screening, and engaging candidates across diverse industries. He currently serves as recruitment specialist with Heron Energy, where he partners with businesses and professionals to deliver seamless and positive hiring experiences. He designs and implements strategic talent acquisition workflows, leveraging advanced sourcing tools to identify and engage high-quality candidates while championing inclusive and equitable hiring practices that enhance workforce diversity. With strong expertise in CV screening and interviewing, Tosin strategically addresses complex recruitment challenges. He has a proven track record of reducing time to hire and improving quality to hire, enabling organizations to grow with the right talent and helping candidates secure roles where they can thrive. His commitment to continuous learning and professional growth has earned him certifications in talent acquisition, that's HRCI, human resource as human resource associate specialization and compliance, and risk management, among others. Please, can we give a virtual applause for Mr. Tosin once again? Thank you very much, Mr. Tosin, for joining us today. We are so glad to have you on the call. The next
Thank
slide,
you.
please.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome,
It's a
sir.
pleasure. Yeah.
All right, so moving on, I'll be introducing Miss Victoria Ehai. Sorry if I didn't pronounce the name well. Victoria is a strategic HR leader with nearly a decade of experience spanning the oil and gas, fintech, FMCG, consulting, media, and broadcasting sectors. She currently serves as manager, people and culture operations at TVC Communications, where she leads initiatives that strengthen organizational culture and drive operational excellence. Victoria brings extensive expertise in talent acquisition, performance management, and organizational culture transformation. She is known for delivering impactful, people-focused solutions that drive business growth and enhance employee engagement. She has a proven track record of leading the recruitment of over 2,000 employees for the National Assembly of Nigeria, designing KPIs for C-suite executives, and spearheading organizational restructuring initiatives for both startups and multinational organizations. Her commitment to excellence and continuous growth has earned her several recognitions, including Top 10 Admired Women in HR by Success Pictures, Top 40 Innovative HR Professionals in Nigeria by People On, and Emerging HR Leader by HR Talent Hub, and the HR Leadership Award by Icon Brand Africa. Victoria is a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management (CIPM) and a Certified Management Consultant (CMC) with the Institute of Management Consultants USA. She is also a fellow of the Project Management Institute (FMPMI). Can we give a virtual applause for Ms. Victoria? Thank you very much, Ms. Victoria. Such a wonderful bio.
Thank you for
Please,
having
can we
me.
do more?
Thanks,
Can we do more?
everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma, for joining us today. We are so glad to have you on the call. So moving on, I'll be introducing the next panelist for today. Please, next slide. All right. So, Mr. Toyosi Ayobelo. Toyosi is a seasoned human resources professional and dedicated sustainability advocate with extensive experience in talent management, organizational growth, and strategic HR leadership across the energy and corporate sectors. He currently serves as human resources lead at Geoplex Tech Limited, where he develops people-focused strategies and sustainability initiatives that drive organizational growth and operational efficiency. Over the course of his career, he has held human resource roles at leading global organizations such as Schlumberger and British British American Tobacco. Through these roles, he has built strong expertise in recruitment, talent acquisition, employee relations, and HR operations. He also holds a degree in human resources management and personnel administration from the University of Ghana. He is certified as a professional in human resources international (PHRI) by the HR Certification Institute, reflecting his knowledge of global HR standards and best practices. His professional certifications and commitment to continuous learning demonstrate a strong dedication to excellence in talent management, regulatory compliance, and organizational development. Throughout his career, he has focused on building high-performing teams, improving workplace processes, and promoting environmentally responsible business practices. He is recognized as a progressive leader in both human resources and sustainable practice. Can we give a virtual applause for Mr. Toyosi Ayobelo? I can't see our applause. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Toyosi, for joining us today. We are so glad to have you. Please, are you on the call?
Yeah.
Damilola, you will be represented by Madam Oluwapelumi.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I skipped that. So Mr. Toyosi is not with us today, but is ably represented by Miss Oluwapelumi. Please, can we move on to the next slide? Thank you very much. Oluwapelumi Ojo is a talent acquisition specialist with over 4 years of experience in recruitment coordination and workforce planning. She focuses on helping organizations attract and identify the right talent while improving recruitment processes and HR operations. Through her work, Oluwapelumi has developed strong experience in evaluating candidates, supporting hiring decisions, and guiding professionals on how recruitment system work. She's passionate about helping job seekers understand what employers look for and how they can position their CVs and profiles to succeed in competitive job market. Can we give a virtual applause? Can we give a virtual applause for Miss Oluwapelumi Ojo? Thank you very much, Miss Oluwapelumi. Please, are you on the call? Can we just hear a word, 1 or 2 words from you? Thank you very much for joining us today. We're so glad to have you on the call.
Hi, good evening. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, very well. Thank you very much, ma'am. We are glad to have you on the call. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. So I'll be handing over to my co-moderator, Aisha. Please, are you there? Can you take up from there? Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Damilola. That was a nice presentation. Okay, so once again, I would like to appreciate our panelists for us today. Thank you very much. Please, to the next slide.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Just give me a minute. Let me pin all the.
Okay. Okay, so while we actually wait for the slide to come up, so I would love us to begin the panel, the roundtable discussion properly. So I'll begin with Mr. Tosin. So within 1 minute, let us hear a comment of a view about the topic, demystifying job application processes, ATS, and landing the roles. Mr. Atose, are you on the call, sir?
All right. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome, sir.
Please, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, it's great. So this topic, it's quite a very interesting one, very important to many job seekers because I believe that many job seekers believe that the hiring process is actually a mysterious one or it's even unfair, especially when they submit dozens of applications and they receive little or no feedback. So in reality, many organizations today, uses the ATS to manage high volume of applications they receive, just like the presentation we had. And these systems help recruiters, to organize, helps to filter and review candidates more efficiently. So when job seekers understand how ATS works, how recruiters evaluate CVs, and what hiring managers actually what they're looking for, they can approach the job search more strategically. So the goal is not just to apply for many jobs, but to apply intentionally, and also tailoring the CVs to the role, highlighting relevant skills, and communicating value, clearly throughout the hiring process. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for the perspective. So I would also love to hear from Madam Victoria. Madam Victoria, your thoughts on this, ma'am. We would love to hear your comments on the topic and how does it relate to job hunters.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. So when we're talking about job process, right, job application, one of the things, misconception we have is that candidates think that they can throw their CVs around anywhere and everywhere. They need to understand that job application is a structured process. For example, if you're going to, it might be unrelated, right? But if you're going to make a request in your organization for funds from petty cash or from your finance department, you have to raise a request. You have to maybe attach an invoice to say we need funds for so and so, and then it goes through a process of approval, and then your audit department will vet whatever that fund is going to be used for. If they can be another vendor at a cheaper rate. This is called approvals for funds. You see, it followed from point A to point B to point C and then to the final phase. So job application most time is structured regardless of how urgent the role is. It is a structured process. Now, if you're applying to organizations that use ATS, because not everybody does, some still do theirs manually. I actually prefer to do manual screening. You need to understand their process to these things, their expectation around these things. I wouldn't want to overflog it because Tosin has said something about it, and then our keynote speaker said something about it. You don't just throw your CV. I remember during my job hunting days, what I always do is that for every job application, regardless of the role, whether I focused on HR role, yeah, but regardless of it, I always tweak my CV to suit the job description. So some persons will feel that, is it not HR? I've been in HR for decades, for months, for years. Let me just throw my CV all around. One of the things that would help candidates in job processing, understanding ATS job application, it is a structured process. And if you understand that, trust me, you will get invited for more interviews. And the more interview you get, the more your chances of being hired. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madam Victoria. And to our third panelist, Madam Oluwapelumi, we would love to hear your thoughts on these two, ma'am. In just 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, hi.
You can have the
Thank you. Please confirm you can see me and you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, and you can as well see you.
Affirmative.
All right, great. Thank you. So speaking to today's topic, well, from a recruiter's perspective, the job application process is not built to stress you or frustrate potential candidates in any way. The thing that we want to see is to see that you are aligned with the job advert or the job position that's been put out for advertisement. So in relation to that, right, we want to see that you understand the job description. We want to see that you are actually very aware of what you're applying to. In the kind of space I work in, right, the oil and gas space, we want to see candidates that are actually very aligned in terms of like competency, cultural alignment, the safety parts of the company and things like that. So in a case where you see a job, let's say a BD job role out there, and then you see, oh, it's just BD, I can do BD. I do my CV screening manually. And when I look at your CV, I see that, oh, maybe you've done procurement here, you've done HR here, you've done maybe HSC here. You're all over the place. You're not aligned. You're not aligned with what really we're here to do. So what I would just say to this is, for every job opportunity you see out there, just like what Mrs. Victoria said, you have to be very much aware and very much aligned to the position. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Fellows, for that insight. So, please, to the next slide. Building on that point, we're moving to a specific question now. We'll be directing these specifically to our panelists. Next slide, please.
Sorry, I'm coming. Okay. I can't find the system I'm using for the screen share.
Okay, while we wait for the slide to actually come up, so I'll be directing this to Madam Oluwa Pelumi. So in just 2 minutes, can you run us through the recruitment phases in the oil and gas industry, and why does the whole process for recruitment take time, and the silent treatment for applicants? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. Okay, so in regards to the recruitment phases in the oil and gas industry, I mean, it varies for various companies, right? But let me just speak generically. So firstly, they have to, I mean, within the HR department, they have to, do something we call the manpower planning. And the manpower planning comes in a way that just to benchmark that the job position that is being highlighted is needed, right? So it's not just, okay, I'm putting out a job advert, maybe just trying to attract a lot of talent. No, there's actually they'll actually identify a need for it and put it out there. So in a case where that is done, then the planning comes in. That is where they plan around the job description, together with the hiring managers. They highlight the advertisement platforms. Is it going to be on LinkedIn, on the website, and maybe on Indeed, things like that. They highlight the platforms they want to put this job advert on. And for initial screening, for some companies, they use ATS. Just imagine a large database where, you're giving instructions to AI to search for major keywords, maybe in experience or education or maybe certification, things like that. Some people do that, and that's just to streamline CVs that are well aligned with the job description, right? Just to save time. And in another way, some people will literally go through each CVs from one point to another point. That is, they take their time to thoroughly screen the CVs and see if truly they're aligned to the job description. Another thing that I think we assess again is the technical part of it. Like for me, after a CV has been screened out, we do something we call, for younger roles, for junior roles, we do something we call the first level assessment, right? Where we invite candidates to come in for a written assessment or a virtual assessment. And that is just to assess how technically inclined these candidates are. So in a case where a candidate comes in for, gets invited for an engineering role, and maybe out of 100, the person scores 70, that's a big highlighter to me that, oh, this person is actually very smart, and I think we can bring him up or take him through our other processes. So after the written assessment, right, we do something we call the practical assessment. Maybe it's for a position we can tag wireline, junior wireline field engineer, right? So the person comes in for a practical and gets access, we introduce you to the tools we use in the wireline department. We see, how well you can use these tools. You don't have to be good, right? But at least we need to see a level of functionality on your part. So once that is done, if the person scales through, definitely the person goes through the interview stage. For some companies, it could take 2 levels of interview stages. For some, it could take 3 levels of interview stages. And this is just to ensure that the right person is being picked for that particular position. Then, in a case, after the interview stages, provided the person scales through, definitely they have to do a background check. So you can see how robust the process can be. It's not, it might not just, you're not speaking to maybe getting it done through in a month. For some recruitment processes, it takes 3 months, 2 months, while some 1 month, depending on the technicality requirements of that role, right? So in a case where someone scales through, you want to do a background check, you want to be sure that this person is clean on all hands and the person is someone that you can bring into the company. And about the silent treatment, I would want to de-escalate the part of silent treatment, because you can always reach out to the recruiters, or let me say the recruitment team. You can always reach out, and at this age and time, communication is something that is pro in most companies, right? So don't just assume they went silent on you. And just to defend, there are lots of applications, right? So some companies, it might take a while for them to give you feedback, dependent on how large the applications are. But one thing I would just want you to take out from here is always reach out, no matter the stage you are in, be it maybe the assessment stage or the interview stage. Always reach out, and I can guarantee you, or let me just speak for myself. You would definitely get feedback. I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much time. I think I'll pause here. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Ojo. We really appreciate that. So you shared your view on how recruitment processes go in the oil and gas industry, including the CV alignment, the technical parts, then the levels of assessments, including the practical aspect that they look at, and also the silent treatment. We shouldn't just assume. We can as well reach out to the recruitment team. Thank you very much. So building on that point, please, next slide, ma'am. Okay, building on that point. So in just 2 minutes, what exactly happens between the moment a candidate submits their CV and when it gets seen by a human? I'll be directing this to Madam Victoria. Please, in just 2 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I would say this is dependent on the organization, right? The truth is, recruitment process is kind of sacrosanct in all organizations, but some inculcate, different levels, maybe aptitude tests. For some, you have to do like a behavioral test. For some, you have to, do physically. For some, they don't even mind doing it virtual all through. For some, they can just see your CV and say, I think this is what we want. For others, they might say it has to go through a process, at least between 2 to 5 stages of interview, right? That's what happened. So let me just give a basic step-by-step process of what happens behind the scene. Now, I worked in the consulting space. So for me, it cuts across various industries, right? Whether oil and gas, FMCGs, media, regardless. So consulting actually exposes you to various industries. So what usually happens with us is that within the first 3 to 5 hours, we start screening. We screen for, what we're looking out for, in the CV. We've already talked about that, so no need to overflog it. The structure, we usually view CV either in an F manner, the shape F. You go up, down, middle, an E shape, up, your name, your summary, middle, education, your skills, and then stroke down where you have worked, and then a little bit about your job, what's it called, job description, where you have worked, if it is well structured. So we screen. Once we screen, we download those CVs, get their phone numbers. We call them to let them know that they have already passed the screening phase. We would contact them should there be, to let them know what the other phase would be. After which, usually what happens during interview is that there is kind of a three-man team that every candidate needs to meet with. And we find out that candidates sometimes prepare to meet with one and they don't prepare to meet with the other two. The first set of people that would interview you during an interview are the HR team. Every department will reach out to the HR team or the talent acquisition team to say, oh, we have an RRF for this role, and then the HR team will go round the process. Most times it might not be as technical and detailed as possible. So your first phase interview, maybe you have written an aptitude test that, takes you to the next phase, or you do not. The first set of people you're going to meet are the HR team. Let's take, for example, you are a front-end person. You're going to be interviewed, on the basics to get to know about you, how you communicate, your behavior, your technical prowess. Of course, at that point, the HR persons will not be able to ask you detailed questions. Then the next interview you will be having would be a technical part of that interview where you get to meet subject matter experts on that interview. That would be like the third phase. For some other organization, they will merge both the HR and the subject matter expert together. And at other point, depending on the grade level of the role, you might have to do a presentation. If you're an executive or an SMT, you would have to do a presentation. But if not, if you've been able to pass from the HR to the tech subject knowledge expert, the last phase is where you get to meet maybe the board of the organization, the CEO of the organization. The last phase is usually where you meet the decision maker of the organization. So just to emphasize on what happens between the moment you apply for your job or whichever job it is, or if any vacancy you see, and the moment it gets seen, majorly is the screening phase, what many of you will know as the sorting phase, where we get to screen. And I already told you the shape. If we are doing it manually, we're either screening your CV using E shape or using F shape. And I already explained what is contained in the F shape way of screening, what is contained in the E shape of screening, and then you get a call. Or for some others, you get an email to say your CV has already passed the screening phase. You will be communicated to on further details. And for some, like for me that worked in consulting, that is where we get to let you know what the company is into, the industry, remuneration, mode of work before. So
Okay,
if you look
thank
at the
you
email and you
very
feel
much,
that this is not
ma'am.
what's it for me, you can ignore it or reply to say you would pass this time. But if not, you could move on with the next process. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. That was insightful. So just like you mentioned, there are stages of interview, the screening phases, and while HR as well called on applicants. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So moving to the next panelist, Mr. Unso. In just 2 minutes, can you just let us know what are the top 3 mistakes that automatically reduce a candidate's chances within ATS? And can you clarify exactly what triggers a rejection and a pass in a modern AI integrated ATS?
All right, thank you so much for that question. I would say that one of the biggest misconceptions among job seekers is that the ATS automatically reject candidate without any human involvement, which is not true. So in reality, The ATS is simply a screening and organized tool, right? It helps recruiters to manage when we're having large volumes of recruitment or applications, and also helps in identifying candidates whose profile best align with a job requirement. So the recruiter actually still reviews the shortlisted profiles and ultimately makes the final decision. So, however, some common mistakes that significantly reduce the candidate's chances even before it gets to the recruiter's table. The first mistake is, I would say, is that failing to align the CV with the job description. Think of the job description as a roadmap. Employers usually list key skills, responsibilities, and competencies required for a particular role. So if a candidate CV does not clearly reflect those requirements, whether it's a project management role, whether it's data analysis, whether it's stakeholder management, or any specific or technical skills at all, the ATS may not rank the CV highly during the initial screening. So this is why it's important for candidates to carefully review the job description. You don't just throw your CV for any job at all. I mean, a lot of candidates do this a lot. A lot of persons do this a lot. For every job they see, they apply for it. And this actually increases their chances of rejection. So ensure that the CV you're submitting are like the most relevant experience and keywords that match for the role. Another thing I would say is common mistake is, overly using complex formatting. Why visually designed CVs, may look attractive to the human eye, many ATS platforms struggle to, properly read those documents that contain stable. A lot of candidates, people design CVs, put their passport, put graphs, put tables, just do all sort of things, text boxes, different fonts that it's very difficult for people to even read. So when this happens, the critical information that we as recruiters, hiring managers needs to see, more like their work experiences, achievement or skills, may not be captured correctly, by the system. So what I would encourage candidate or individual to do when applying for a job is they should use a clean and simple, well-structured CV. It's often more effective that way because it allows both the ATS and the recruiter to quickly understand, the candidate's profile you know, uh, without any ambiguity, right? So another thing, the top mistake I would say is submitting generic CV for multiple roles. I've mentioned earlier that a lot of candidates apply for different jobs, several jobs using the same CV, without tailoring each CV to each role. So recruiters can quickly identify when a CV has not been customized, and it often makes the candidate appear as if less aligned with the specific position. So every small adjustment. Hello.
Sorry,
Hello,
you
can you hear
can
me?
go.
Please kindly mute your mic if you're not speaking, please.
So in most cases, candidates, progress to the next stage when their skills, their experience, and keywords clearly align, with what the employer is looking out for. So on the other hand, I would say rejection usually occurs when there is a clear gap between the candidate's profile and what is required for the role. So ultimately, I would say that success with ATS is not about trying to beat the system. I would say it's about presenting your experience clearly. It's about presenting your experience strategically and also, in a way that reflect the need for that particular role. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. So that was insightful. So you mentioned aligning CV with the job description. Don't visualize CVs, and we should as well try to avoid generic CVs for multiple roles. So going to a general discussion. So I'll be calling on one of our panel, any though it is a general discussion, a general question to all the panelists. So I'll begin from Madam Victoria. So what is Nigerian labor force law, and why do employees look like hustlers or just surviving in the industry, working under the Nigeria way of working, yet payless, that can't even cover up for basic living for employees? So in just 2 minutes, can you please dissect this for us, ma'am?
Okay, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can, ma'am.
Actually just just made me laugh. Now, the Nigerian labor house, the Nigerian labor law, it's guiding, fair wage, majorly what has to do with pay, fair wage, and mutually um,
Hello, Aishat. I think the network. Okay. Hello, everyone. So we're having a bit of network glitch from the Victoria's end. So we'll call on Mr. Tosin to go ahead while I reach out to her.
All right. So, talking about the Nigerian labor market, I would say relatively, the Nigerian labor market, comes with some very unique realities. You look at it critically. There are labor laws that exist to protect employees, and you would agree with me that many organizations are actually still operating under strong economic pressure and a large informal sector. So, and a very competitive job market where there are far more job seekers than available opportunities, because we have less opportunities and we have a lot of job seekers out there looking for this opportunity. So, because of this, many people, I would say many workers, they feel constantly the need for them to also just to stay afloat, right? So people are working hard, sometimes juggling multiple jobs, side gigs, different people. Some persons have three jobs, trying to juggle just to stay afloat, and simply to keep up, with the rising cost of living, especially in Nigeria, which is our own case. So in many cases, salary have not increased. People still pay low salary. A lot of persons are struggling, just to get to work. Some persons don't even have savings because of the reality of the economic hardship. And at the same time, there's inflation. So employees are often just trying to survive rather than just thrive in their careers. But the positive side is that the conversation is beginning to change, right? There is now more awareness around fair compensation, employee well-being, healthy work environment, and sustainable work practices. Why some organizations don't practice all of these, but there are a lot of awareness right now, and organizations that recognize these realities and make conscious effort to support the employees through this fair pay, growth opportunities, supportive workplace culture, healthy workplace, work-life balance, and all of these things tend to attract stronger talent, and also retain, their top employees for a longer time. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. Madam Pelumi, we would love to hear your perspective on this, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So adding to what Mr. Tosin said, he mentioned the inflation, the high labor supply, the economic instability. One other thing I would like to add again is the limited high quality job opportunities. It's very competitive. I'm not going to lie. It's a very competitive space that we are in. Just for instance, using SEPLAT or NNPC as an instance. Okay, I think there was a time, I think about last year or 2 years back, when SEPLAT, released the guided trainee opportunity, and then we all heard how much they were paying. The selected trainees. Trust me, a number of people applied for that opportunity, and out of like 8,000 or 10,000, let's say about 10 were picked, right? Just in a case whereby 100 people were picked, I'm sure the benefits they will get there is something that would, ensure they swim above the current economy of Nigeria. So, right, so there's limited high quality job opportunities. It's more like, maybe there are lots of like scrappy jobs people are like holding on, but one takeaway from here is no matter how the economic, movement is like, Nigeria or any other country. What should set you apart? It's the skills you currently have, the skills you can leverage on, and how you can position yourself to get these high quality jobs that can help you swim above the current reality of the economy in Nigeria and the world at large. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Fellow Academics. So that was insightful. So to the next slide, please. Please let's encourage to drop an emoji reaction in the chat box. Let's encourage our panelists, please. Okay, so over to the next roundtable question. No, next slide, please. Okay, so over to the next roundtable discussion. What do you say, ma'am?
I mean, this is the next one.
Okay. So over to the next roundtable discussion. So I'll be directing this to Madam Victoria in just 2 minutes. Kindly tell us if a candidate has a gap in their CV or is switching from a different industry, how can they trick the ATS into seeing them as a fit for an oil and gas role? Madam Victoria, you can have the floor now, ma'am.
I think she's here to join because of her network. So we may want to skip this question and go over to the next.
Okay, so we'll be moving to the next panelist. Okay, so Mr. Tosin, in just 2 minutes, given the rise in conversational hiring, where the initial screening feels more like a dialogue than an interrogation, can candidates prepare for this less formal but equally critical stage? Mr. Tosin, are you on the call, sir?
Yes, please, I'm here.
All right, you can have the floor now.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. So talking about this question, in the rise of conversational hiring, I would say that in recent years, we have shifted toward, what organization call conversational hiring. Instead of, a very rigid and scripted interviews, employers are creating a more relaxed environment, where candidates can speak naturally and show their authentic selves. Over time, candidates are pressured. Over time, candidates are, they are timid. But now the idea is to make the interaction feel less like interrogation. So, I mean, the idea is to make you, present your skills, tell us what you can do, and more like a meaningful professional conversation. So, however, it is important for candidates to also remember that even though the tone, may feel relaxed, it is still an assessment stage, right? Recruiters and hiring managers at this point are still evaluating your skills. They're trying to see if you have the experience that is needed for the job and how well you may fit, into the team and the organization. So to prepare effectively, I usually advise candidates to focus on 3 things, which are very important. First is to understand the role and the organization. A lot of people apply for jobs, they don't even know they don't know anything about the organization. Some don't even remember the role they applied for, and then they're faced with interviews. They don't even know. When questions are being asked, oh, what do you know about our organizations, or what do you know about this role? They tend to say, no, I don't know. Imagine. So the thing is, before the interview starts, it is very important that every candidate take the time to research the company, its mission, its values, culture, and the problem it is trying to solve. Also, to understand the expectation for the role. So when candidates demonstrate that they understand the organization, it immediately shows, seriousness and genuine interest. And the second thing is that, they had to prepare real life examples from their experience. So instead of memorizing, textbook answers, AI answers, and all of those things, candidates should think about the real situations where they've solved a problem, right? Where they have led a project, where they have handled difficult situation, where they delivered. This is their story. So you as an individual, you need to tell your story. You must tell us what you've done, so you make your responses more authentic, to be able to help the interviewer see clearly the value you're bringing. And thirdly, I'll say the approach the interview as a professional conversation. We know in this age and now where we have virtual interviews, candidates treat virtual interviews as just a mere call. They don't take it serious. And a lot of persons do so many things during virtual interviews. So it is very important to take every interview, either physical or virtual, as a real interview. So be natural. You need to listen carefully to the interviewer, communicate your value clearly, and don't hesitate to ask tough two questions. At the end of the day, when you are asked as a candidate, "Oh, do you have any question?" and you're saying you don't have any question, it shows you don't have interest even in the role. So the team, the ability for you to show curiosity, confidence, and engagement makes you the best candidate. And at the end of the day, employers are not just evaluating what you know, but they're evaluating how you think, how you communicate, and how you collaborate with others. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. So, from your presentation, you said we should try to understand the organization.
Yes, sorry, apologies.
Okay. Oh, Madam Victoria, you're back. Okay, now we'll move to right now. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. So we're moving back to Madam Victoria. So your question earlier was, if a candidate has a gap in their CV or is switching from a different industry, how can they treat the ATS into seeing them as a fit for an oil and gas role?
Okay, please
Madam
confirm
Victoria,
if you can hear me.
yes, I can now.
Okay, so it's not about tricking an ATS really, because regardless, the ATS would pick the number of years. So one of the most important things about your CV, well, it has to, do with an ATS, is to ensure that your CV has the appropriate word, lacks ambiguity. When an ATS are designed by humans, right? They might say someone who has certain number of years, pick these keywords. Nobody would intentionally go and say, oh, ATS, if somebody has a gap in their CV, do not select. One of the major things you want to do when your CV is going to be passing through an ATS is to ensure that appropriate keywords, your job description, it aligns with what the organization is looking out for. Dating, the maybe in chronological order, how you put your dating is very important. For example, maybe you worked in Victoria and Co 2021 to 2025. You just put Victoria and Co 2021 till date. You will come under again Olabisi and Co 2022 till date. Such things would not even allow your CV fly when using an ATS. So your dating needs to be appropriate. It should be the month, the year, hyphen, then date. If you're still till date, if you're still working in that current organization, then for organization that you have already moved past, the month February 2026 to February 2020 to June 2022, or whichever year, you ensure that your dating is appropriate. And if you're using numbers, let it be all numbers. Don't put your date in numbers in this particular place, and you come to the other side and you use alphabet. But it is always advice, do not use numbers. Let's say 14/3/2026. It will not work. The ATS will not pick it. It is always advisable, put your month in dates. February 2022 to December 2025. Always put your date in such a manner. Then, if it is not in the cases of maybe an ATS, when a recruiter recruiter is screening your CV, one of the first key things they are looking out for is how structured your CV is. Does your skill align to what they are looking for? Have you worked in a similar industry? Have you done job description or deliverables or projects that are similar to what you are looking out for? I don't advise anybody to lie. You know, some persons will still want to put they stopped working for 2 years and they'll now put to date. If they do a background check, it might affect your career. So it is better to ensure that your CV is well structured. It catches the eye of any recruiter. I have had the opportunity to interview several persons who have gap in their CVs. We have a conversation about it and we move past it. Of course, I understand that there are maybe recruiters who maybe might want to be on the other side, but most of the time, when you have a conversation about it, people, take career breaks for different reasons. So you will not fault me. And I would not want to lie in my CV. One of the most important things is to ensure that the dates on your CVs are accurate. You are not lying when you're speaking. Your CV is well structured. It lacks ambiguity. A lot of people want to use big grammar. No, that's not what we're looking at. Have a well-structured CV, and the rest is a walkover. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. So that was insightful. Thank you so much. So we'll be moving to the general question. Then I'll be starting from Madam Oluwapelumi. So imagine a scenario where a candidate has to go through 3 to 5 stages of interview, yet did not land the role. What exactly do HR look for to have stressed an applicant to that stage, yet served breakfasts? So in just 2 minutes, please kindly take us through this, ma'am. Madam Oluwapelumi.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Okay, well, I wouldn't say say, or how will I put this now? I wouldn't want to use the word stress the applicant, because for an applicant to have gone through that much stages, right, it shows that the person is actually a strong contender for that role, right? And definitely, I would expect that the HR person in charge does not just shut the person down, but at least keep the person in a pool, in the talent pool of the company, right? But in a scenario where a candidate has to go through 3 to 5 stages of interview, yet the candidate does not land the role, but there are various reasons, right? One, it could be maybe another candidate was better off, maybe more technically inclined, or maybe fit the cultural setting of the company more. I mean, there are various factors that serves as metrics for them to measure these things. So it's just dependent on what has been set in place for such recruitment process, right? And another thing is maybe, like in my own line of work, I will just talk based off the technical aspects, right? Because on the field, we want people who are much more who are like team players. So want to see that in our evaluation of you, right? So, and just not to slide out of this conversation, for someone who has gone through 3 stages of interview and did not land the role, right? There's just something that maybe cut off the person from being selected, but that does not diminish the person's skills or the person's ability to do the job, right? And just to add to this, in a case where maybe the person did not pick the role and someone else was picked, something interesting could happen whereby maybe the person that was even picked did not later come true for that role. So I would just expect that he or she will be the next person to fall in for the role, right? So it's not, this is not to just diminish the person's progress, right? So just to highlight that the person remains a strong contender for that role, and the person is not just like swept off the company's recruitment process. The person will be kept in the talent pool of the company. And I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Oluwapelumi. So that was insightful. So I'll be directing this to Mr. Tosin. So from a talent acquisition perspective, can you take us through these questions, sir? Mr. Tosin?
All right, so I'll be building on what Belumi has said. She has rightly said, what is needed. That for you to even go through those level of interview stages means that you've actually met, the requirement for the role. But this is usually where the process becomes very comparative. We have a lot of people, candidates, competing for the role. At the end of the day, we just want to hire one person. So sometimes I like to explain it in a simple way. Imagine a final interview stage where we have three very strong candidates. All of them are qualified, they have the skills, all of them, they performed well. But unfortunately, there is only one seat available for the three persons, just one seat. So the hiring team now has to look beyond just qualification. So we will now begin to shift our focus from things like, oh, let's begin to look at the cultural alignment with the team. Will this person blend well with the existing team dynamics? Does this person have depth of experience in certain areas? So who has slightly more exposure to the company's immediate needs? This is what we're looking out for. And we're also looking at the problem solving approach of this person. How does the candidate think, through the challenges? You understand? And sometimes communication and collaborative style. We just want to see how effectively, can they work with other people. And sometimes, to be honest, it can come down to a very small difference. And I often tell candidates something a bit funny, but very true, that at the final stage, everyone is good. The company is just trying to decide who is the best fit for today. That doesn't mean the people who got rejections are not good. You understand? So not getting the role at that stage does not mean the candidate was not good enough. In many cases, it simply means that another candidate, was slightly closer match to the team immediate priorities at that moment. So that's why candidates who reach those later stages should actually feel encouraged. They shouldn't feel bad that they got rejection. For you to have, scaled through those process, it means that you are very close. And with just a few adjustments, the next opportunity, could be an easy one. So they should just keep going and never give up. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. That was
I would
insightful.
also like to add to what Mr. Tosin said too. Sometimes budget considerations to matters, right? So let's say there are two candidates that are up there. One could be asking for 1 million, another could be asking for 600, right? And then they have to benchmark against what exactly is the pay range for this role. Then they have to decide which exactly fits into the particular position, considering the pay range for that particular position. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Oluwapelumi. So we'll be taking the next panel section. So I would hand over to my co-moderator, Damilola Omotosho, to take this. Damilola, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Confirm you can hear me,
Okay.
please.
Welcome.
All right. Sorry for the background noise. So, the next question will be directed to Mr. Tosin. In 1 minute, sir, what are sub two red flags that don't immediately disqualify a candidate but make HR hesitant? What are sub two red flags that don't immediately disqualify a candidate but make HR hesitant? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for that. Think sometimes there are certain subtle red flags that may not immediately disqualify a candidate, but they can actually make recruiters to pause, and become a bit hesitant. One common one is, lack of clarity. When a candidate explain, when lack of clarity when a candidate explain their past role or achievement. If someone cannot clearly describe what they have done, the impact they have made, or the result they have achieved on their CV, of course, it can raise questions about their actual involvement in those responsibilities. Another thing I'll talk about is, speaking negatively about their previous employers, colleagues and managers. Even if the experience was genuinely, I would say, difficult for them, how a candidate talks about this thing shows, a lot about their professionalism and emotional maturity. And another thing I'd say is poor preparation, you know, which is something recruiters will quickly notice. For example, a candidate has not taken the time to understand the company that I mentioned earlier, the role, or even review their own CV. Some candidates don't even know what's in their CV. So they don't know. They don't. Sometimes they, give people out to help them write their CVs, but they don't even read line by line if what they had written is actually the things they've done. So when they come to interviews and questions are being asked about their experience, based on what is on their CV, they start out. Sometimes they go blank. They don't know what to say. So basically, inconsistency between what is written on the CV and what the candidate says during the interview can create doubt and would actually make recruiters question credibility. So this may seem like small things, but together they can signal concerns, around professionalism, around accountability, and reliability. So which are the qualities employers take very seriously, when we make hiring decisions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful response. Please, I have not seen applause. Let's give virtual applause to our panelists. Thank you very much. So you mentioned professionalism, very, very important, poor preparation. And also when I just want to add to it before moving on to the next question. So you mentioned something about you don't even read through the job roles, you don't even understand what the job role is all about. You don't even understand the company in particular. You just saw the application and you applied. So when you are being interviewed, you don't even have questions to ask. So that's another point for you when you are being interviewed. Do your research about the company. You can even ask, okay, you saw this on their website. What was it about? So thank you very much, sir, for that. So I'm moving on. Thank you all. You can see the better with the virtual applause. And also I can see questions, a lot of questions. So it has been a very, very insightful session so far. Thank you very much once again to our panelists. So moving on to the next question, is to be directed to Ms. Oluwakolimi. If candidates understood one insider truth about screening process, what would you want it to be? So if candidates understood one insider truth about screening process, what would you want it to be? In 1 minute, Ms. Oluwakolimi.
Okay, thank you. So one insider truth that I would mention is for an average recruiter, they spend less than 2 minutes looking at your CV. Or let me even be much more. They spend less than a minute looking at your CV, right? Because at a glance, they want to see if you're well aligned with the role. They want to see how, maybe the previous experiences you have that are aligned with the role, your course of study. And for those that put their grades on their CVs, they want to see, okay, did you graduate with a first class, second class? Are you actually the kind of candidates that we're looking for? So one thing I'll just say from here is just what every panelist here have been saying, for you to tailor your CV adequately and ensure that you put highlighters, keywords that would actually, serve as to catch them at a very fast glimpse, So that's just one thing I would say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma, for that apt response. Thank you very much. Please, can we give a virtual upload? I don't want, please, let's appreciate our panelists. So next question, moving on, I'm moving on to Ms. Victoria. Ma, in 1 minute, rejection mails or this particular question. Rejection emails or love letters or breakfast, are they auto-sent or are the applicant documents properly screened? Rejection mails, I know a lot of us here can familiarize ourselves with this particular aspect. So love letters or breakfast, are they auto-sent or are the applicant's documents properly screened? Thank you very much, Madam Victoria.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, it's a two-way street. Some are actually auto-sent and others are not, especially for candidates who have met with the criteria and have been interviewed. So it's a two-way street. Some can be auto-sent. Now, when it is auto-sent, don't think that your CVs have not been screened. There are criteria that an organization is looking out for. And if your CV does not meet that criteria, it shows that they have screened it somehow, and then they are telling you, oh, thank you for your application. We realized that or we got so many CVs, and whatever the case is, kindly look out for our page and apply, the generic one that you always get. But trust me, they have done their back end work, and I've gone through your CV to say it doesn't meet the requirement, or they have gotten enough application. Now, on the other hand, there are specifics for candidates who have been interviewed up until the last phase. Maybe for the last phase interview, the candidates remaining were 2 or 3, and then one was selected. In such cases, the mail you would get could also be generic, and at other points it could be specific. I just want to give a little an example. Something happened to me. There was a candidate that we interviewed. He came in highly recommended for the role. He was the last person, but he didn't do well. When it was time to present, he copied chat GPT, no depth to answering of question. So I went further. I was like, I needed to give him a detailed, candidate interview feedback, not the generic one. He didn't take it lightly. He didn't take it like, he was so angry. I told him that these are areas you need improvement. When answering questions, you need to go in depth. You need to do this. This is how you answered the question. This is how you should have done. My dear, the boy was angry. Thank God it was a phone conversation and via email. If he would have beaten me. So I told myself that, whoa, me, I'm not going to do that word anymore. He insulted me so badly via WhatsApp. I told myself I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll just be sending you people generic message. We'll all be all right before somebody will beat me. So it's a two-way.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that. Thank you very much, Ma, for that detailed explanation. So it's actually 2 ways. For someone like me, I've received a lot of breakfast. Oh God, even as a recent graduate, really tough out there. But thank God, Ma, you explained it so well. You explained it so well. So, and also, I think we've learned something. Respond to questions very well. Don't just copy and paste from AI and expect that you will land the role. So, thank you very much. It has been a wonderful session so far. So, moving on, Ms. Oluwapelumi, in a high pressure sector like oil and gas, technical competence is a given. Sorry, in a high pressure sector like oil and gas, technical competence is a given. I don't know, probably there's a mix of something somewhere. What specific soft skill evidence is HR looking for during the application process that signals a candidate is ready for a field or site environment? So, in 2 minutes, what specific soft skill evidence is HR looking for during application process that signals a candidate is ready for a field or site environment in a high pressure sector like the oil and gas sector? Thank you very much, Ms. Oluwapelumi.
Okay, thank you, Oluwadamilola. So in a case like this, well, the oil and gas space is it's a high volatile space, right? And most time field operations may not even go as planned, right? There are lots of risks attached to it. So when a candidate is being evaluated, I want to be sure that a candidate can communicate well, because there is a term I'll call it the escalation term, because you should have the ability to escalate when things are not going as you should go. So communication is one. Then the safety mindset is one. You want to see how you can think on your feet and provide a solution, do something that is safety oriented. I mean, there are trainings in place here, definitely, but you having the mindset towards being safety conscious is one thing. And also teamwork. We want to see that you're a team player. You can't do sole job in an oil and gas environment. You have to have the team player skills. You have to, we need to know that you can work in a team, you can collaborate. We need to know that you can also be held accountable. We need to see the leadership in you when it comes to like taking on projects and going on tasks. So these are like some of the soft skills I would mention regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. I think we all we've all gotten something from that. Please, virtual applause, please. So she mentioned leadership, teamwork, accountability. So those are the soft skills that will put you out there for good roles and job roles in the oil and gas sector. Thank you very much, ma. So it's break time, break time. All right. So I know we've been patient since we've been listening to a lot of things from our panelists, our keynote speaker, and we've heard so much. So it's just time to relax a bit. Then we'll move on to where we'll continue our roundtable session. So okay. So during this break time, we have to. Aisha, are you there? Are you taking the general questions, or I should go ahead? Or FG? Are we waiting for like some minutes before we continue, or we should just move on?
We have to wait for.
All right. I can't really hear you. How many minutes break?
This has been a very tight conversation. I'm sure we are enjoying ourselves because it's something that is very critical to every one of us, even those that are in the industry. Transitioning from one role to another, that you still go through almost the same process again. So, few 2 minutes, just take a walk, stretch your legs, your arms, take a cup of water because we are going on the last one, and hopefully by 7:30 we are done with this session. We want this session to be as robust as you registered for it. So apologies for taking so much time, but this is really needed. Thank you very much.
Please,
While we are on break, please, I would love to see our reactions in the comment section. How has it been? Has it been interesting? Is it a waste of time? Have you gained value? Do you regret attending this session? What clarity have you gotten so far? Are you happy with our panelists? Are you so proud of them that you want to drop love emoji for them all? Are you so happy being on our first session for the year? Please let me see your comments on our comment section, please. Thank you. Okay, yes, we are back. And it's been 2 minutes. So sorry if it is very different from your own 2 minutes. Okay, so I'll be anchoring this particular session, and I will just specify directly to our panelists the questions that will be taken by them. So for the first question is, I feel so much relatable in terms of all these questions because they are kind of direct. And this one, I feel the person was very sensitive enough because we have observed nowadays that if you are above 26, you're no longer part of the people that are supposed to be recruited in the energy or in any of the industry, even in economics. You're above 26 years, it's become a challenge. So, Madam Victoria, would you want to throw your comments on it? And the question is, I'm in my early 30s and a graduate with a second class lower grade in chemical engineering with a recent certification in oil and gas drilling operations. Is what do I need to increase my chances of getting employed? Just a minute, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Regardless of regardless of the industry, one of the things you need to do is to ensure that you stand out, with your CV, with your application. Me, a lot of us do not understand what visibility on some professional platforms can do for us. It could even be maybe
No, ma'am, can you hear me?
and then I found out that they were going to be hosting it. I had not joined HR at the time, but I connection. I wanted to build network, and of course, you're not coming for free because nobody is inviting.
Madam Victoria. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Come by yourself or come with pay for who you're inviting. So I now asked that, please, though, I would also like them to add me to that HR group. You have to come for the party and you pay. And everybody hear me?
Yes, but your line was breaking a little bit. Hello, ma, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I know. But
Should I go ahead?
yes, you can go ahead now.
Training.
Hello. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Breaking. I think the network is breaking. We can't hear clearly.
Okay. Since Madam Victoria is currently not available due to the network, I think I will go over to the next question. We'll call on her next whenever we can hear from her. So I'll call on Mr. Tosin. Why are many of us denied access due to age factors? How do we see that age barrier is taken out? Not more than 26 to 27 years is a barrier, and it's limiting many of us. So, Mr. Tosin, please, you have the floor now to tell us why age should be a problem in job recruitment process. Just a minute, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that question. As we all know that in Nigeria, especially, for say young graduates for graduate roles, there's always this age restrictions, especially within the banking sector, even in the oil and gas space as well. They tell you if you're between the ages of 28, you're not qualified for this role. However, I would say that for that, I mean, it's not really an ideal thing to do, considering the number of years you spend in school, before graduating and all of that, which limit a lot of persons from gaining entry into some of these, graduate trainees opportunities. So, as much as we can't change that currently in the Nigerian system, if you exceeded that particular age for that particular role, what I can tell you is that you just need to look away from those graduate trainee roles. So more of what you need to do as an individual is to be open to internships, be open to volunteering. This would actually help you to gain experience because looking at the Nigerian factor, this age thing is a major concern that actually limits a lot of persons who are actually qualified. They have the right skills, they have what is required, but the age actually limits them from those opportunities. So you don't have to limit yourself. If the system is limiting you as an individual, you don't have to limit yourself. All you need to do is you need to be open to other opportunities. You need to be open to other opportunities, not minding what the Nigerian situation is doing to us. So I believe with that, you can scale through that process, be open to volunteering, be open to other internship opportunity that might not require that. Also, develop yourself and learn soft skills just to equip yourself with the right skills, that is in vogue. And believe me, you will definitely get the right opportunity that, you're looking out for. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hossein. So that was so insightful. So taking the other question, so we have here, I'll be directing this to Madam Oluwapelumi. Looking at various entry level roles, entry level openings in the energy sector with minimum requirements of 2-1, what can a graduate with 2-2 do to be considered? Madam Kalumi.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, so speaking on this, well, having a tutu is not a showstopper. It should not it should not it should not stop you from still applying for the role, right? It's not like you have to do something very extravagant, but something that would add more to your qualifications. Let's say as an engineer, you should be open to taking, certifications in HSC. There's the HSC level 1 to 3. There is the BO SIET. There is the IWC F for people that are interested in well construction and things like that. So these other qualifications we just had as a plus to your qualifications, but you having a tutu should not be a showstopper. Be audacious and go ahead with your application. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And that was so great. You said we should take professional certifications to add up to our advantage of landing the role. Thank you very much. So I'll be directing this to Madam Victoria.
Okay.
In just 2 minutes, please answer this, ma'am. Do companies in the industry communicate vacancy to general public from time to time, and what medium is utilized, while also ensuring equity and fairness in the hiring process?
Let me be sure I got that. The companies in the industry communicate vacancies to general public from time to time, and what medium is utilized, and while also ensuring equity and fairness. Yes, they do. Some are done internally, but yes, a lot of organization does, and they do that on their website. So there's a career platform on organizations' websites. Like if you go to maybe Chevron, for example, if you go to NMPC, for example, if you go to some of these multinationals, they do publicize their job vacancies. I would give an example for NMPC. I know a former colleague, we worked together. In terms of fairness, there might be sometimes that, certain things happen behind the scene, but I'm going to give example that I have seen happen in real life. We were colleagues. So there was this opening that happened, I think 4 or 5 years ago with regards to NMPC. He's a first class graduate. He applied like every other normal person. After 1 year, he was called to write, there's this aptitude test he did. From about over 5,000, they were streamlined to 1,000. He was still part of it. From that 1,000, they streamlined to 500. He was part of it. From that 500, the process went on till they took only 10. He was part of it. we followed up with him till he got his offer letter. So yes, company does. And sometimes some company will go through consulting agencies, HR consulting firm. One of the things some of these organizations have realized that when they put out a vacancy, everybody apply, even unqualified candidates. So what they do is they go through job boards, they go through consulting companies. They do not put the name of the company. So what they want to do is that the consulting company will help them streamline it, as against having everybody and anybody apply, streamline it to the specific persons they need. So when that is done, they send the CVs or assessment of credentials of the candidates that suits the role that they are applying for. Yes, companies do post on their platform. There's always a career platform. I remember when I was job hunting, for some of the companies I was targeting, I always went on their career platform. When you go to any company's website, there's always a dashboard for you to go to careers@so.com. When you click on it, there are list of vacancies there, and at other times it could be that they are using maybe job boards, it could be that they are using HR consulting firm to streamline their application. And it's always fair because it's thrown to the public, so it's a
Hello, Madam Victoria. Can you hear me, ma? Okay, I think a network actually knocked her out. So I'll be directing the next question to Mr. Tosin. Mr. Tosin, so there's a question which says, I hardly get a reply from jobs role applied through email compared to those applied through links. So in just 1 minute, can you help us decide the question, sir?
Okay, so I don't really understand what this person mean by getting jobs through email compared
I
to
think
those
it's
through
just like
links.
sending cold mails. I think the person is trying to talk about probably cold mail or something. Maybe like sending job applications through applying through email or just applying through the link, the company's link.
Okay. Okay, if the person actually said, they hardly get reply from jobs through email. I mean, a lot of recruiters get thousands of applications every day, every single time, and for some recruiters, it's quite difficult for them to give feedback to individual one by one. You understand? So it's more like a robust process. So as a result of that, if they see that you're not qualified, they don't bother to even contact you. They don't bother to send you rejection email, or sometimes they even ghost you. Right? It's not ideal, but it's just what it is. When you imagine you receive 3,000 emails in a day, or 3,000 emails. How many would you reply to? And that's why most times a lot of companies have integrated the ATS, which automatically sends feedback to candidates. If you have thousands of people applying for a job, you get that feedback immediately. But applying through emails, I will not assure you that you will get a feedback. It's only a few occasions that recruiters might want to reach out to you. But however, if you don't get feedback, it means that you just have to move on. You're not qualified. Just keep pushing, keep applying till the right opportunity hits your inbox. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. So that will be a wrap on the questions we got from our applicants during registration. So we'll be pivoting back to the questions well prepared for you. Next slide, please. Okay, this will still be directed to Mr. Tosin. In 2 minutes, can you tell us when is the right time to ask about the salary? Does asking too early in the screening process kill our chances of landing the role?
Okay, let's be honest here. This is just reality. Salary is important. I mean, nobody's going to work for just motivation alone or vibes. At the end of the day, we all have bills to pay. Transport to sort out. Especially in Nigeria, the cost of living keeps rising. So it's completely normal for candidates to want to know how much does this role pay. So, but however, the timing matters, right? So in the early part of the interview, it is usually better to first focus on understanding the role and showing the value you bring. This would help the employer to see your skills, your experience, and why you're a good fit for this position. So if a candidate just jumps straight into the conversation and the first question is, "So how much are you paying?" And sometimes even before the interviewer finishes introducing the company, it can come out across a little bit like a funny thing and give that impression that, oh, this person is actually, the interest is the salary. I usually tell candidates, something. First, let them see the value you bring, then the money conversation will flow naturally. However, in many cases, recruiters, themselves will bring this up, during the screening stage, because they also want to make sure that your expectations are aligned before the process will even go too far. And when candidates want to ask, there are also professional ways, there's simple way to do this. For example, you can say, "Oh, I'd love to understand the salary range for this role, so I can actually ensure our expectations are aligned." So that way, the conversation will stay open, is always respectful and professional, and both sides can actually quickly know, oh, if this opportunity is worth pursuing or it's worth backing off for. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. So just like you said, we shouldn't jump to just asking about the salary. And even though we are meant to ask, we ask professionally and we show our value out there first. Okay, so over to Miss Madam Oluwakelumi. So in just 1 minute, can you tell us what subtle behaviors during interviews immediately raise red flags, and does LinkedIn consistency with a CV matter during screening? Madam Pelumi, you can have the floor now, ma.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay. You're
All right.
welcome.
Thank you for this question. Definitely consistency matters, right? And just to put it out there that to a large extent, recruiters actually go above and beyond regarding review of candidates. They go as far as reviewing your LinkedIn profile and ensuring that it aligns with your CV. Because as much as we want you to tailor your CV to the job positions out there, we don't want you to lie, right? We want to ensure that everything that you speak or everything that you put on your CV actually tallies all around about you, right? And one thing you should note is that your CV is your first representation when it comes to job applications. So even before meeting you, your CV is what will represent you. So you want to be as truthful as possible, and you want to also be well aligned and ensure that there are consistencies like all around. Even for one on Indeed, I'm sure a lot of applicants have personal profiles there, where you put up like your qualifications and things you've done before. So across your board, you have to ensure that everything is consistent and up to par. And also at interview stage, we don't want you to show that you don't understand the role fully. So you have to be confident. You have to come fully prepared. And also, we don't want you to speak negatively about your previous employers. We want to see someone who is of integrity, someone who is also very accountable. Then also, as much as we want you to be confident, don't try to be overconfident without evidence. As much as you're trying to be confident, right? Ensure you have backings, ensure there are evidences to everything that you have to say. And also lack of preparation. For every interview space you're coming to, be it an informal interview or a formal interview or a quick call, maybe on WhatsApp or phone call or a physical interview, you have to be prepared. Be it a physical interview, come as you want to be addressed, right? I would want you to come as if you already got the job, right? So yeah, that's also one thing. And yeah, even if it's virtual, right, you have to be able to communicate clearly. And yeah, you have to be able to communicate clearly. you don't want to, I mean, when you get asked a question, you don't want to slow for long, and then you're just saying, I mean, you're slowing for long and you're not even coming forth with a good response. So yeah, these are some things I will say. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Kulumi. So that was insightful. So to our audience, kindly let's engage our panelists. Drop emojis in the chat box, reactions. Let's keep it coming. So without wasting much of our time, I'll be moving to our next panelist, Madam Victoria. So in 2 minutes, we hear cultural fit a lot. What is one specific thing a candidate can say in an interview to prove they fit the culture of a high-stake environment?
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, I don't know what's up with my network today. It's just not been the best of it. My apologies. But whenever we hear cultural fit, different organizations with different culture, different core values, and what works for them. But generally, in context, when we say cultural fit, we're looking for value, people who would give us value, people who have accountability, people who are responsible, and people who are reliable. Whenever you're having a conversation with an interview, right? Their industry culture fit and their behavior culture fit, their leadership culture fit, that most maybe interviewers or recruiters are looking out for. But in general terms, does your culture align with bringing value to the role that you applied for? Are you accountable? You need to show that you are a person of accountability. You need to show that you are a person of reliability. You need to show that you are emotionally intelligent. These things would help you fit into any high stake environment. These are generic, right? And now they are specific culture fit. For example, for someone who have worked in a fast-paced environment, then coming into average fast-paced or slow-paced environment, how do you align yourself? You need to let the recruiter know that you are teachable, you can learn very fast, you understand that this industry that you have worked in for this number of years is actually different from this industry. You let them know of the previous industry you have worked with, and now you were able to catch up really fast on the new industry you have come into. So that would help them know that, okay, this person would fit into our culture. For example, there are organizations where their mode of dressing, their culture could be business casual, and maybe you're someone who's been used to the corporate, the suit, the tie, and all that, and they're asking you, how would you be able to fit into our dress code culture? So you could tell them how flexible you are with regarding to adjustment in culture. So those would help you, fit into a high stake environment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. So that was so insightful. So this is going to bring us to the end of the panel discussion. So we'd love to once again thank all our panelists for sharing that so insightful, for sharing something so insightful with us today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So moving to the photograph section. So kindly on your camera and let's have a quick photograph.
Okay, so I'll be taking the photograph session, and I'm excited to do it. So please, let's smile, smile for Jesus, smile, smile, smile. Come on, is not on. I'm coming, give me a minute. We want to really acknowledge our panelists. They have really done a whole lot, like a whole lot. I've attended a lot of panel sessions where there are no time to really talk. Like everybody is, I beg, let's do one close, let's do one close. And we miss so much because some panelists are not given the opportunity to to really say what is on their mind. And I feel this session was is really deliberate, because we don't want to have a session where everybody just come and go without having the experience of what it's really like. So I will take the screenshot. I will take just 2 questions, and we are done for the month of March for Lecture Hub. So please smile, 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 smile. I'm going for the first one. Yeah, some people are not smiling. I don't know if I offended anybody today. So we'll take the last set. I think just 3 questions left. So we'll close it for the night. Well done to everyone that has stayed till this very time, which means you really want to land the job this year. This year must not pass us by. Like, must not must not pass us by. So thank you very much. And to our panelists, thank you so much. Thank you very, 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 very much. So I'll stop the video and let's continue with the last set. Thank you. Okay, so Aishat, I will just share the last 3 questions, and with if anybody is interested in speaking. Sorry, I just observed something from our chat box, and this is just a disclaimer. We are not in any form maybe sharing any oil and gas courses, because I observed some people are exchanging contacts. So please endeavor to note it down that you're responsible for any outcome that may come out of it. So please, Aisha, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. So we'll be having the question and answer section. Okay, but before then, we'll be having recognition and award. Should I go on with that?
No, let's just take the 3 questions. Just pick any random 3 from the chat box. First one, so that we can just recognize our panelists and we'll let them go. We have stressed them too much.
So we have a question from Ogene.
Aisha, sorry, you're muted. Please unmute.
Okay, sorry, ma. Okay, so we have a question from Ogene Cairo, which says, is it proper or normal if a recruiter asks the candidate for settlement, that is service charge, when he finally gets the offer? So I'll be directing this to Mr. Tosin. Mr. Tosin, over to you, sir.
So I would say that it is never right. It is not right. It is not appropriate for a recruiter to demand, settlement or money from a candidate. So if you're at the verge of paying a recruiter, someone promised you that it's going to get you a job, please do not pay that person. Apply if you're fit for the role and you will be called upon. So don't pay anybody any money. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I hope that answered the person's question. So I'll be directing these to Madam Victoria. So we have a question from Arin Dalan. With the ATS system, can we applicants use CV or resume templates provided by these softwares like Canva and Microsoft Word to create their own CVs or resumes tailored to the job being applied for? Do you get a question, ma'am?
Can you take it again, especially the last part?
Okay, with the ATS
I think I can
system.
see it. With the ATS system, can an applicant use CV and resume template provided by these softwares like Canva and Microsoft Word? Now, the truth is, it is a win-win situation, right? You want to look at what is compliant. I always advise for core corporate professionals, when you're not a designer or a creative designer, why use Canva and put a lot of design? I would always advise, please use Microsoft Word and then convert to PDF. Those templates you see online is a guide for you to use. It is a guide for you to use. Some of those templates, by the time you are done with it, they scatter. By the time you apply with them, it appears unstructured. Always use your Microsoft Word because it gives you all the tools to ensure that they are well aligned, and then you convert to PDF to be on the safe side. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Victoria. So I'll be directing the next question to Madam Oluwapelumi, which is from Abdullah Hadikule. He asked, how do you adequately answer the tell me about yourself question in an interview? Madam Pelumi, are you still on the call?
Hi, good evening. So how you can adequately answer the tell me about yourself question? Well, I want to know your name, and I want you to speak to what makes you you. That is, you are highlighting your values and your alignment to the job. You're highlighting your skills and your values just in a little time frame, right? So you're highlighting what makes you you, you're highlighting your values, and you're highlighting the competence that you have as in relation to the job position.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am.
So
Okay, thank you very
okay,
much,
thank you
ma'am.
very much, ma'am.
Sorry, good evening. Please, this is Carol speaking. Please, can you just help me with clarity for my last question, please? I would really appreciate.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
So, thank you very
So
much.
thank you very much.
So we have to go over
So
to
we have
the
to go
last.
over to the last. No,
We have to go over to the
we have to
last,
go over to the last talk,
and we would love to
and we would
recognize.
love to recognize.
Yeah, please give me a
Yeah,
minute.
please give me a minute.
So special
So
appreciation
special
to
appreciation
you
to you
so much
so
for
much for
your effort,
your
your time, your availability. I know we have taken so much from you, and we just want to recognize you for the time that you have spent with us and the opportunity to have gotten a whole lot from you. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you so much.
To
To
recognize
recognize.
Tosin, Mr. Tosin, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And this is a certificate of appreciation, and it's proudly presented to Mr. Tosin Hunsu, who served as a panelist. at the Roundtable with HRO for the Lecture Hub March edition with a team demystifying job application processes, ATS, and landing the role. Thank you so much, sir, and we are very grateful to have you. So I don't know if you have something to say before I move over to the next person.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to appreciate everyone. Thank you for having me. It's a great privilege to be here, and I want to appreciate you and the entire team for this certificate. Thank you. And I'd also like every one of the participants to also connect with us, on LinkedIn, so we could be mutuals, and then they could get to see other insights we could be sharing online. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And we appreciate if you can just drop your LinkedIn profile with us on our chat so we can just go straight to your page. Please, let's put hands together. I want to see the emoji. Like, I don't know why you guys are not clapping. Let me see the reaction, please. For the recording, you will get the recording via the email that was sent to you. So please, let's see the reactions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So over to the next person. Madam Victoria just left, so I will reach out to her privately. But this is a certificate to appreciate Madam Victoria from TVC Communications. She actually works with TVC Communication, and for her to join us today, it's a very, very great privilege. So let's put hands together for Madam Victoria, who served also as a panelist in our at our roundtable with HR Lecture Hub March edition webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am. And to the HR from Joplex. I know most of us are famous with Joplex. Joplex. So I want to say thank you so much. Mr. Toyosi is unavoidably absent, and he sent us a very beautiful HR to step in for him. So I want to appreciate Mr. Toyosi. Thank you so much, and we'll do well to send feedbacks to you on how the whole session was like. Okay, I was surprised because I couldn't find Madam Oluwapelumi certificate of appreciation, and I noticed it was actually the first one. So, Madam Oluwapelumi, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you so much. We really learned a lot from you, and it was a beautiful session. Thank you so much, Madam Pelumi. Do you mind saying something?
Hi, thank you again for the time. I'm very happy to be here. And thank you for the recognition and the award. Thank you so much. Just to leave a quick note, so in regards to applying for jobs, just note that it's about presenting yourself as the right solution to the organization, no matter the sector you want to apply to. Just see yourself as a solution provider and be confident in your skills and everything you've learned from school, everything you volunteered for, and even things that you will get to do. I mean, more things that you get to do, more platforms you will get to join. Always leverage it. Always try to find a mutual ground on everything you've done. Leverage it and use it to speak. Use it to, sell yourself. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very, very much. And at this junction, I'm so excited because this has really been a session that is worth the time. Like, 3 good hours spent on dissecting the various challenges of the recruitment process. And I'm sure by now you already understood how next you should navigate your job applications. And wishing you all a very fruitful year, from one opportunity to another opportunity, from one job to a better job, to a more beautiful job. It seems people are not happy to be hearing this kind of prayer, because nobody is saying amen, nobody is saying thank you, nobody is clapping, nobody is doing anything. On this note,
Amen.
I want to say, for those that will say amen, may you guys have beautiful jobs.
Beautiful jobs.
Amen.
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 Okay, so on this note, all our volunteers, from the webinar moderators to meeting planning team to the community managers to the social media to the graphic designs to all the departments we have in Lecture Hub. We want to say thank you so much for making sure this event was a very, very huge success. Thank you so much, and do well to have a beautiful night. Bye.
Same here. Bye.
Please, will the recording be available?
Yes, it will be sent via email, the email you used to register.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. God bless you all.
Amen.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.